Warning: once you watch this video, you might see the world in ways you've never seen before. When you are awake, everything will feel different. You react differently, you see things differently, and you find yourself feeling more alive and energetic. You shatter every tension and fear pertaining to success. Since I started reading Anthony de Mello's Stop Fixing Yourself, my perspective on the world has changed forever, and there is no going back. In this video, I will share some of my favorite highlights that have been waking me up from all the false beliefs that were holding me back. If you find yourself wondering what you need to do to change yourself, the solution is simple: nothing. You don't have to do anything. In fact, the more you do, the worse it gets. In my previous videos, I talked about the concept of power versus force. Anything requiring effort and force will eventually fall apart. So, what cultivates true power is effortless action that is in harmony with the natural world. This principle is called Wu Wei from Chinese philosophy Taoism. All we need to do is understand our own programming, understand and trust the natural flow of nature. The movie Karate Kid, the 1984 version, does an excellent job demonstrating how this works. Society and culture teaches us to believe that we will not be happy or fulfilled without certain things or certain people, aka factors that are outside of us. In computer science, a program is a set of instructions that a computer follows in order to execute specific tasks. For example, 8 years ago, I was doing an AI research internship where I created a program for my computer to follow. This program was a simple tic-tac-toe game in which I played against the computer using an AI algorithm. Fast forward to now, I find myself following programs like a computer. Programs I was not even aware of. I was asleep, not knowing my own pure potential was getting trapped in a cage built out of a program of false beliefs. The program of chasing money, status, and approval was becoming outdated. I remember faking my way through all the corporate interviews I had, cheating my way and abusing drugs to get a bullshit degree in computer science because I wanted others' approval. These job promotions, job offers, and endless productivity advice are all for what? To reinforce our already societal conditioned programming, to create more attachments to such temporal material things and status? What happens if the entire world burns down? Will we be satisfied that we slaved ourselves to cultural expectations that's only further dimming our inner light? I eventually became consumed by a virus from the program. I was limp and immobile and ultimately succumbed into a deep slump of darkness. I never realized how much cultural programming was affecting me until I stopped for a moment and contemplated on the list of attachments that I've become a prisoner to. Once I understood how I've been programmed, I noticed myself carrying less mental weight and experiencing a sense of lightness that I had not felt before. There is a whole program that's been stamped in us about how the world should be, how we should be, and what we should be. We are not responsible for this programming. Since birth, they've been programmed by our family, culture, religion, and past experiences. If the demands of the programming are met, I will be happy. If not, it will generate negative emotions that could cause me to suffer. A delayed flight, a game that's been glitchy, an email or a text message that hasn't arrived, or someone exhibiting a negative attitude. These are things that do not conform to my computer's programming. Therefore, I will feel a negative emotion. In my early 20s, I had all these achievements. I graduated with a degree in computer science and secured high-paying jobs. I was finally able to afford living in a luxury apartment. I had all these friends and shallow hobbies like eating out, going out to spend money, and shopping beyond the necessities. I remember in high school, I would think that if I don't please my friends or family, they will exclude me and I'd have to be a loner for the rest of high school. Like, I was so scared eating alone for lunch. I was keeping up a certain identity, and it was feeding so much suffering and depression in me because I was becoming attached to social acceptance and status. I literally felt infected trying to keep up with this false identity. This internal filth would start to manifest as severe acne and depression that really ruined my self-esteem. Around college, I started to establish doing activities on my own. I would go out to eat alone. I would do these solo movie theater dates with myself, solo hiking, beach dates, you name it. I'd even have days where I'd just sit with myself in silence, doing absolutely nothing for a prolonged period of time. I discovered sustaining fulfillment in my own company. I eventually became a natural at saying no to shallow conversations and experiences, and instead would go on bubble baths. Attachment happens when we associate happiness and fulfillment with the pleasure of external material things, aka, I will suffer without this person or thing in my life, therefore, I am attached to it. Allow me to share a story, a beautiful, impactful story that just invigorated me. A wandering monk was walking along a riverbank when he found a beautiful, sparkling gemstone. He picked it up and placed it in his small bag, continuing his journey. The next day, the monk met a villager who approached him and said, "I dreamt about you last night, that you possess a precious stone and that you should give it to me, for its value will make me the richest man in the world." The monk opened his bag, pulled out an object and said, "Is this the stone you saw in your dream last night?" The villager couldn't believe his eyes. It was the stone in his dreams, a diamond as big as his fist. The monk goes, "Please take it. I found it in the forest and you're welcome to have it." He handed over the precious diamond without hesitation. The villager couldn't believe his luck. He knew the diamond could provide him security for the rest of his life. He took the gemstone, held it close to his heart, and experienced great joy. He sat under a tree all day, clutching his diamond, and became immersed in thought. A few days later, to the monk's surprise, the villager returned. He approached the monk and handed back the diamond. "I've been thinking about this valuable stone," the villager said. "I've decided that this wasn't what I was looking for," he continued. "May I ask you to do me one more favor?" The monk goes, "What is it?" "Could you give me the inner richness that makes it possible for you to so easily give away this thing that would have made you the richest man in the world?" Revisiting that story changes me every single time. I have so many things that I've been attached to, but we're working on it, okay? We're working on it. There is really only one thing that we need to do, and that is to decondition our programming and getting rid of attachments. The moment we acknowledge and understand the programming and the brainwashing inside of us, life finally becomes meaningful and beautiful. Every day is just infused with endless freedom. Want to wake up? You want happiness? You want freedom? Here it is. Drop your false beliefs. If you've made it this far, I encourage you to filter everything I said through your spirit, your soul, basically the pure higher consciousness within you, the part of you that is not conditioned by society, culture, or tradition. Like the Buddha says, just as a goldsmith tests gold by burning, cutting, and rubbing it, you must do the same with my words. I am not an expert at deprogramming myself. Sometimes my old toxic ways will creep up when I'm not cleansing my mind with books like these. Kind of like if I don't shower for days or weeks, I'll start to stink and gunk will build up. So going back to this book is like a nice fresh shower for my mind and spirit. Now, let's take one deep breath. And please, always remember the magic that is within you. Till next time.